Deshaun Watson is 223 pounds, 4.6 speed, so he's kind of like a linebacker. He is not entirely accurate. His best adjusted percentage rating was 78.4 in 2020. He consistently has a high pressure to sack ratio of 20% or more. Versus the Steelers, he had a 30% pressure to sack ratio with a 3.0 time to throw. He had 20 pressures and 6 sacks. In terms of his rushing ability, his yards per attempt is 5.3 overall in 2023. In all the years, he's averaged 5.4 yards per attempt scrambling. Per yards per attempt, he's second best considering running backs and quarterbacks of 50% of 331 snaps. Lamar Jackson is first at 5.8 and Jamar Gibbs is second. In his past 2 years, he's scrambled at 10% and 7%. In his years with Houston, he was at 21% his last year, which was his highest rated year in PFF grade. Before that, it was 14% and then 15%. His very first year, it was at 9%. In 2023, he had 76 adjusted percentage in a kept clean pocket, which is not among the best quarterbacks in terms of accuracy, and that has been some of the criticism of him as a quarterback. His time to throw is 2.59. Big time throw percentage was 4.1, so he might benefit from pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. In time to throw, over 2.5, had similar stats to Mahomes, but biggest difference was pressure sack, which is 12% more at 20, where Mahomes was 11%. In 2.5 time to throw, his time to throw is 4.0, and scrambles is 18, which is about equal percentage as Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Allen are all at 4 seconds time to throw and have 50 plus scrambles. He only played 6 games. Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson both have a high pressure sack percentage at 4 seconds time to throw, so should decide to scramble perhaps a little earlier. Watson is at his worst when he's under pressure. So I was wondering why he doesn't seem to be accurate, and I was looking at his throwing motion, and it's different than Mahomes. He might be waiting too long to throw, then tries to make it up by throwing super hard. So if you look at this throw versus Steelers, where it's a simple 3-step drop, he throws it a little wide and ends up being tipped into a Pittsburgh Steelers arms and ran back for a touchdown. If you compare his drop to Mahomes, he seems to be dropping straight back, whereas Mahomes is opening up his shoulders, getting more depth. Mahomes gets about 4 to 5 yards of depth, where he only gets 2. And then if you look at the throwing motion, he is really tight at the bottom and then is throwing high at the top. Whereas Mahomes is opposite of that. He has a wide wound up and then has a tight release and is throwing like kind of closer to his ear or at the top of his helmet. And also he's kind of leaning into the throw on his right foot, kind of his shoulder levels kind of drop. If you're going from his left shoulder to the right, kind of drops down. Whereas Mahomes, it's not really leaning, it's more of like a twist at the hips. His shoulders don't drop much. So that could be the reason why he is not terribly accurate. He needs to fix probably some of that mechanics, and maybe that will help him be more accurate. The other thing it could be is that he was intentionally trying to throw this to the outside of the receiver, whereas the route should have been more of like a curl, and he should have hit him maybe in his chest more instead of high to his left above his shoulders.